right there we have a pretty decent value. I'm happy with it, so I'm going to go ahead and tighten it. I'm going to put back our knob. For some reason it was down a little bit, probably because I was tightening it and I move it. Right, that's really good. I'm going to put the knob back to the blender on the 100%, which is what we're reading over here. Make sure that when you put the knob in, don't put it too far down because you might get tight when you're turning the knob. You know, it might get tight, the knob towards the face of the blender. So it's got the stopper, so be sure that you have enough room and it's sitting properly. So once we put it back on the blender, we're going to check again on 21%. Then we're going to proceed to read 30, 60, and 90. Take a couple seconds. It wouldn't be a bad idea to go back to your 100% and make sure you get it right. So checking yourself, it's never going to hurt you. As I mentioned before, reducing your oxygen concentration takes longer to get a steady reading on your oxygen analyzer than when you increase it. When you increase it, it's a lot faster. So probably give you a tip once we get to the 30, 60, 90, how to do that a little bit faster. Alright, I'm pretty sure that it went a little longer. It's going to go to the 21.5 or 21.3 that originally was set up on the oxygen analyzer. As you notice, it's going down. So I'm going to read my 100 again just to make sure that we set it up right. So I'm going to dial the knob to the 100% again. You gotta remember that the parameter on the readings is plus minus 3%. So, you know, our parameter for 100 is anything above 97 is good. Or 21 is up to 24. 30, 60, and 90 will be 27 and 33, 57 and 63, and 87 to 93. So that's pretty good. As I mentioned before, we can do this faster. So in order to read a 30 and avoid waiting a little bit longer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the knob and lower it more than 30%. And once I pass that 30%, I'm going to go up to set it up to 30. So I don't have to wait that long. Because on one side, I'm pushing it to go really fast to the lowest point, and then I'm going back to the reading that I want to check out. And since it's faster to read it when you increase the oxygen, you know, it's just, you can save a couple seconds there. So it's lower than 30, so now we can go back to the 30. So you be really precise on it. Seems like I got it there. We need to be between 27 and 33. Now at this point, sometimes you play with the knob to get the right reading, and sometimes the valve, but most likely when you have a good 21 and 100, you pretty much, you know, move your knob to get a good reading on the 30, 60, and 90. I would recommend to have a reading of those three before you start moving your knob. So that's, it's kind of low. I'm going to go to 60. It's a good idea to have the readings before you make before you move the knob, because if you are up on the readings, all three, you pretty much have an idea how much you need to go back. Or the opposite, if you're lower on the three readings, you know pretty much how much you're going to go up. The difficult thing is having one down and having one over, because you need to find a middle setup that is good for all. So our 30 was 20 something, our 60 is 48, and we are 90. Alright, we notice here in this case that this blender, 21 and 100 is set up, but my 30, 60, and 90, they're all lower than they're supposed to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the 30, I'm going to move the knob to get a reading within the specs, and then I'm going to proceed to check 60 and 90, and at the end I'm going to proceed to check all of them. Here we go. Going to do that trick again, so I'm going to reduce it lower than 30 to force it to go really fast. Once I pass 30, I'm going to go back to get the good reading on it. So there's two ways. Since we're lower, we can just take the knob out and move on the small increments until we get a good reading within the specs, or we can go up until we get there, we take the knob out, and we put it back right where it's supposed to be. Alright, we set up our 21, 130, and it's pretty much the same procedure to get the 60 and 90, and at the end having the readings, checking all your readings.